What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Shawty Parker back in the building with another episode of Just My Damn Opinion. And man, tonight, man, I'm gonna be here just talking a little ish about football, man. So much, chaos going on in the college football world. So I just came here to chop it up a little bit, vent a little bit, get a few frustrations off my chest. It's my therapy, it's my show, so I kind of do my thing. And first, I want to say, man, is just shout out to everybody who got their recruiting classes in. I know everything may not be final, but for the most part, the 2025 classes are wrapped up. First of all, I want to say shout out to Georgia. I think we again finished with the top three class. I want to say maybe one or two, depending on what publication you look at. It's either us or Texas. But at the end of the day, man, all the big dogs ate again. The usual suspects got the same top classes, man. Alabama, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Oregon. I mean, it's the usual suspects, man. So, when people talk about, trying to make things more even, just look at it, man. Kids are still going to go to the schools that have the most money, who has the most resources. Now, I will say, in all honesty, the NIL and the transfer portal has changed the landscape of college football. It's no longer the way that it used to be. Things change very, very fast. Kids are moving around very, very often. So that's why so many teams, don't have as much continuity as they would like. But yeah, but with that being said, man, I just kind of want to, I did a show a few weeks ago, man, and I kind of gave out some kind of mid-season awards and things like that, what I thought. So once again, I'm just going to do a little bit of venting. The first thing I want to do is one of my coaches of the year. I got to give a shout out to Shane Beamer, the head coach at South Carolina. The way that he turned the team around at a halfway point and finished up at 9-3, a top SEC team from where they was coming from. I mean, he's done a hell of a job with the schedule that they played, the teams that they've beaten. I'll be honest with you, I would have never saw this out of South Carolina. So shout out to the stat guy. He always repping his team no matter what, good or bad. So shout out to the stat guy because he made some of these tight predictions in the beginning of the year. And me personally, I wasn't trying to hit. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we play the game. So I'm going to say Shane Beamer is probably one of my coaches of the year, if not the coach of the year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give him the coach of the year, but I'm going to give you another guy who I also think has done a great job after the midpoint and finishing up the season. Deion Sanders. I have to give a shout out to Prime. I ain't gonna say I was a Prime hater, but I was not a believer in the way that he was trying to build his program. But again, to his credit, he's aware of how the transfer portal and NIL can instantly change your team. And in 2 years, he has literally had two different rosters almost, but he's had the most important pieces in place and kind of put the supplementary parts around him. And he's 8-3 this year. The only reason I can't give him my coach of the year is just based off the schedule and the conference. Because if that same team played a rigorous SEC schedule, I don't think they're 8-3. Just in my opinion. Maybe closer to 6-5, but maybe closer to 6-5 or something like that. I don't. It'll be something more like that, 7-4ish, something like that. But I don't think the 8-3 would have been feasible in the rigorous SEC conference with the current roster that he has. But still, shout out to Prime and with all he's done. Again, he would be one of my candidates for coach of the year for what he's done, man. I mean, he's done a great job. Next, I probably would think about who's some coaches on the hot seat or who didn't do a good job after our midway point. Because when I did this show a few weeks ago at the midway point, I actually gave this particular coach credit because I thought he had them trending in the right direction. And it's Sam Pittman. Unfortunately, Sam Pittman, you got to be on the hot seat are on your way out. Now, I will say, I think your recruiting class, I saw with your recruiting class, I think you had a top 17 recruiting class. And for Arkansas, I think that's right on track, if not ahead of schedule. So that recruiting class may save Sam Pittman, but I don't think he's done anything from a coaching standpoint or winning game standpoint to keep his job, in my opinion. So Sam Pittman will probably get that particular title of not improving his team at the midpoint and finishing up not strong at all. So good luck to you, Sam. Unfortunately, you just didn't make it. Another coach, I'm gonna actually talk positive about this particular coach too. And we wanted to fight this guy at the beginning of the season. It's long midway through it, but I'm gonna tell you what, after week 5 or 6, he did a hell of a job. And you got to give credit what credit is due. And I'm a Florida hater, but I have to give Billy Napier credit. I think he finished up 7-5. With that schedule he had at the beginning of the year, I would have told you he maybe would win 5 games. I think Vegas had them at 5 wins, maybe 6. But Billy Napier did a hell of a job coaching, man. I mean, he did a hell of a job, and the recruiting class is good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Florida might be a problem moving forward. I don't think you're gonna see Florida down like you've seen them after this year. They're not gonna be down like this. He's just doing too good of a job recruiting, and he's too good of a coach with the X's and O's, especially offensively. So you want to beat up on Florida, you better get them this year. But this year over, you better get them next year if you can. But I don't even know if you can get them next year. I think they're gonna be back. I think they're 8 or 9 win team next year under Billy Napier, especially with the quarterback coming back and if everybody is healthy. So yeah, man, shout out to Billy Napier, man, for doing what he did. I'll talk a little bit about the Heisman, man. A lot of people probably have, their particular thoughts on the Heisman Trophy and who the winner should be. I think there's a couple of good people out there, but I watched a lot of football in my short lifespan, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I didn't really give this guy a shot. It had nothing to do with the talent or lack thereof. I just didn't think his team would win enough games, and they proved me wrong. And I'm going with Travis Hunter at Colorado. I have never seen a player start on both sides of the ball like this kid, almost every snap. You're talking about a kid that got 90 receptions, I think, over 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns as a starting receiver. And then he's up for the best cornerback award. So, to me, it's just Travis Hunter. We've seen guys like this in the past, guys like Champ Bailey, Charles Woodson. You had, what's the guy that played with the Arizona Cardinals? Got drafted first round. Can't think of none, but he was a cornerback. He played a little bit of both ways, but no one has started both ways. If you would have asked me if this could be done, I wouldn't say no, but the likelihood of it, no, because that's another thing you have to give Deion and Travis credit for, because I don't think no other coach in the country would have given Travis Hunter the opportunity to play both ways, 85% of the snaps on both sides of the ball. I just don't think any coach would have done that. So shout out again to Deion and shout out to Travis for sticking with Deion and doing that, because I just don't really think no other particular coach in the country at this time would have given Travis Hunter that platform, to do what he did on both sides of the ball. So yeah, that's why I'm giving it definitely to Travis Hunter in terms of the Heisman Trophy candidate, winning the Heisman Trophy. One of the things I'm gonna talk about, man, I'm not gonna keep you long. I'm gonna give out some my predictions on all the title games. We have 4 title games. We got the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, and we have the ACC. I don't know if anybody kind of recognized this or saw this, but in all the title games this year, it's kind of funny. In each of the 4 title games, there's a new team from another conference that's actually in the title game. SMU, brand new team in the ACC. Oregon, brand new team in the Big Ten. Texas, brand new team in the SEC. And Arizona State, brand new team in the Big 12. So, shout out to those coaches and all of those guys who were able to come into the conference for the first time and make the title game and basically be able to say they're the best in the conference in their first year. And Texas is trying to do that in the SEC. I don't think it's going to happen, but Texas is trying to do it. So shout out to all the conferences. Dan Lanning at Oregon, first year in the Big Ten. He's in the conference title game. So shout out to Dan Lanning too. With that being said, I'm going to give out my predictions. And I was on Big Mike, not Big Mike, but Mike Wilkerson show. I think I forgot what it's called, but he's an Oklahoma fan, and I was on there teasing a couple of the Texas fans and a couple of Oklahoma fans because I was asking them about after their recruiting class, how did that affect their expectations? And you can tell when everybody ain't got that confidence in them. They thought I was, poking at the belt. No, I thought it's a good question. But with that being said, I have no problem answering questions and projections of the future. Nobody knows. All we're doing is prognosticate just based off the information we have. So nobody is right and nobody is wrong. It's just my damn opinion. So with that being said, the Big 12 title game with Iowa State and Arizona State, I'm going to lean towards Arizona State because I think they're hot right now. They are the new team in the league. I'm going to lean with them. I don't have a score prediction. I don't know what the spread is. Actually, I do. The spread is 2.5 points right now. So it's pretty much a pick 'em. I'm going to roll with the hotter team, Arizona State, right now. I'm going to roll with them. And in my opinion, all of these 4 teams that I've mentioned that are new in their conference and they have made the title game, another thing, in my opinion, that they have in common, they didn't have tough schedules. Most of these teams only played 1, if 2, top 25 ranked teams. And in my opinion, it's just not a great barometer in terms of saying a championship team, because you just don't really know what you're made of until you play a good team, or 2 or 3. Next, we got the Big Ten. In the Big Ten championship, we got Oregon versus Penn State. Right now, it's currently 3.5 point spread for Oregon. And I'm going to say this again. Oregon suffers from what I just said about Texas, Arizona State, and SMU. I think Oregon's schedule has been pretty light. They've only played 2 top 25 teams on their schedule. I just don't think they've been through the gauntlet enough to show that they are the number 1 team. Granted, they are undefeated, and it's hard to go undefeated, so you have to give them credit for that. But I think Penn State defense is going to be a little too much for them. So I'm rolling with Penn State. And all this is going to change the college playoff brackets too, with that being said. In the SEC, I just said it again. No, not the SEC, the ACC. Same point about SMU. Great job with them, first time in the conference, but they haven't been battle tested. I think Clemson has had a much harder schedule. I think they're much more ready for the moment. So I'm going with Clemson in the ACC championship. And of course, you got Texas and Georgia in the SEC championship. And I'm rolling with the same thing. My mind ain't changed. The same thing with Texas. Texas came in and done a hell of a job. They 11-1 for the regular season. But I said it on our Respect the Head show last night. They probably had the lightest schedule of the conference. And with that particular roster, you should go 11-1, if not undefeated. So now, again, you're about to play another good team, which is the same team you lost to early in the year. Granted, it's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. What's that spread? 2.5? Yeah, 2.5. I like Georgia 34 over Texas 31. So those are all of my predictions for the conference title game this weekend. And again, those are going to change the playoff brackets. They're not set. So we can easily go from a 7 seed to a 2 seed. Oregon can go from a 1 seed to a 5 or 6 seed. So the brackets are not set. So it's going to be interesting to see the final brackets next week. If I had some other guys on here, I would have done a bracket prediction, but I don't want to do a bracket prediction by myself because I don't have time to put up the slide. But I will come back and we'll talk about the actual set brackets when they are set. And that's all I want to holler at y'all about tonight, man. I just want to talk a little bit about football a little bit, man, just about some of the chaos that's going on. I'm not in total agreement with how some of the seeding is right now. I know it's going to change. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how, and it's a little bit of hate. I'm going to say it's a little bit of hate, but I don't know how in the hell Alabama is at the 11th seed right now. I just don't understand that. Can anybody tell me, well, it's probably a popularity if anything, but I just don't understand how Alabama made the damn top 11 with 3 losses. I don't think you should be in the playoff with 3 losses unless you receive that third loss in the title game, which you shouldn't get punished for playing in the title game. So I think Miami is getting somewhat screwed, and this is going to be the hard push, the hard case. Really, after this year, they're going to go to 16 teams. If not next year, it'll be 2027. So teams like Ole Miss, Miami, South Carolina. I'll tell you what, well, I wouldn't want to play South Carolina right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad they went on the schedule this year. Because South Carolina remind me of the year that UGA went 10-2. I think that's when we had No Sean Marino and Stafford at the quarterback there last year. And we beat, because I went to the game, we beat LSU or somebody in the SEC championship. And we was the hottest team in the nation, but we were 10-2, and we didn't get to play for the national championship. And that's what South Carolina, that particular team reminds me of in terms of them being one of the hottest teams right now. And if they were to get in the playoffs, I think they could beat anybody. So yeah. So I see us going to maybe 16 teams, if not next year, the year after. And with the way that the landscape of college football has changed with NIL and the transfer portal, there's no better time to have a college playoff with 12 to 16 teams because it can be on any given Saturday. It wasn't like this 5-10 years ago when kids didn't have the opportunities to transfer. NIL had people going like that. Generally, you will only have the same top 3, maybe 4 teams that could win it. Now, you maybe have 4 that could be in the playoff, but really only 2, maybe 3 could win it. But now it's wide open. Right now, I know Oregon is undefeated, but I can see anybody in the top 12 beating Oregon. I really could. Think about Boise played them, and I think Boise only lost by 3 points. And Boise has a chance to be the 4 seed. Granted, you would think Boise is obviously better than anybody thought they would be. So I got to give them credit too. But I don't think if anybody had a team to play, or if I had a team to play in the first round or the championship or whatever, give me Boise out of anybody else. That's just how I feel. But again, that's just my damn opinion. With that being said, man, I'm going to get out of here, man. I ain't want to hold y'all long. I'm actually about to go get me something to eat. I think I want some Chipotle. I got in a little late from work, so I ain't had time to cook or nothing like that. It don't feel like cooking. So I'm going to run back out, probably go grab me some Chipotle or some Barbaritos and come on back to the house, man. But I just want to chop it up with y'all a little bit about college football, man. Once again, it's just my damn opinion, man. You never know when you'll find me, man. I just kind of get on when I can. Your boy up out of here, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. And your boy up out of here.